Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus Velasquez, and it's time for TGIF F. So TGIF Films, it's Friday, and it's Valentine's Day weekend. So today, we're going to focus on two movies that I would suggest you watch for Valentine's Day, or date night, or whatever. And they're two movies that, I was asking Laura, my wife, what kind of rom-coms, or date night movies, or whatever, movies or should I talk about? And she gave me a bunch of lists. I'm like, I haven't seen most of those, so I figured I was going to review two movies that I have seen. So one movie is about 4 years old, and the other movie is about 20 years old. So these are my two movies that you should check for TGIF. First one, it's actually a Netflix movie, and I'm not a big fan of Netflix because, well, that's not true. I like Netflix, but if you know me, I'm not a big fan of Netflix original movies because I don't know. I think they're a little underwhelming. I don't think the writing's the best, and I don't like streaming services taking the place of the movie theater. But that's neither here nor there. So, anyways, the first movie is a Netflix movie that I actually think is actually a really great movie, and I've seen it a couple times, and Laura and I watched it, and it's a pretty good movie, and it's a good rom-com date night Valentine's Day movie. And that movie is called When We First Met, and that movie, it stars Adam Levine, I think is his name. He's from Workaholics, or Adam Devine, sorry. He's from Workaholics, and he's Pitch Perfect and other stuff. What is he? Pitch Perfect, Workaholics. Isn't it romantic? He's in a lot of things. You know who he is. And then it stars Alexandra Daddario. She's really beautiful. She has those big blue eyes. She was in Baywatch and Percy Jackson. She was on an episode of Always Sunny. I'm trying to see what else she's been in. She was in the not 2012 San Andreas. She's just been in a lot of things here and there. You would recognize both of them. And then anyway, so the story is that they meet at a Halloween party a few years, 3 or 4 years ago, and the movie starts that they show up, or he's showing up to her engagement party, and he's obviously still in love with her, and they met 3 or 4 years at a Halloween party, and in the flashback you see that they really hit it off, they were really they really hit it off, and they kind of left the party and were having a great time together, and then it turns out that he ends up getting friend zoned. And if you don't know what the term friend zone means, that means that you've pretty much been in the zone of little brother, friend, and I will never look at you as a romantic interest. So in the span of that whole night where he spends the time just talking and hanging out with her, he gets friend zoned. And then the next day she meets the man of her dreams, who's tall, chiseled Greek god, but he's a good dude too. So that's the other problem. He's a really nice guy. It's not like he's a bad guy. So anyways, the whole movie is you kind of see a little backstory on that, on how he still loves her and is still infatuated with her and just bummed out. And she has a friend, so the girl he likes, she's engaged to this other guy, but the same girl, she has a friend, and so they're talking, and he's just venting to the friend that, oh, I should have made my move sooner, and blah 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 blah. But anyway, so that's the the backstory of that, the first act or whatever. And then the second part is he has this photo booth, and so every time he goes in there, he wakes up that same night, that same night that he's going to the Halloween party, and so then he's like, oh no, this time I got to make my move faster, or I got to do this, or I got to do this. And so it's it's almost in a sense of not Groundhog Day, but it's just he gets a chance to redo that night, to fix it so he can have her fall in love with him how it should be, and not the other guy. And so it's really funny, and it just shows how how life would be if he did fix it this way, and how she would end up with him, or this and that. And there's a lot of funny things that happen along the way. It's a comedy, it's a rom-com, and all these things happen, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just put this right now. So spoiler warning right here. So if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix. It's a good movie. It's, like I said, it's called When We First Met. So if you want to watch it, check it out. But if you you're gonna get spoiled right now on what happens in the movie. So I'm telling you right now, spoiler. All right, ready? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what ends up happening is, he's every time he goes back in the photo booth, like something happens, like it's just not right, you know. She ends up falling in love with the same guy again, you know, whether it turns out that he's her personal trainer now, or they run into whatever. Even if she does end up with the guy, Adam Devine, like even if they do end up together, she's falling for the guy she originally falls in love with. So anyways, you find out all this stuff, and he's just like, okay, it was never meant to be, and blah 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 blah, and all this stuff. But then as you go on, you know, you figure out that the story isn't about him and the main girl. Her name's Avery, but Alexandra Daddario. It's not about her. It's about her friend, because she finds out all the things he loves about her, like her playlist, the costume she's wearing, the things she was talking about. All that stuff was things that she borrowed from her friend, the friend that he always vents to. And so he was falling in love with all these things about her, but it turns out that it was things that were all about her friend that he never even saw as like a potential love interest, and it just, you know, he just saw her as a friend. But then of course you see that he's like, wait a second, like I think I like her now because she's the one that I've been falling in love with, but I just thought it was you. So at the end, everyone, you know, lives happily ever after. The girl marries the guy of her dreams, and he realizes that the girl that he was actually falling in love with was the other girl, but he just never looked at her because he was just so infatuated that the other girl got away. I don't know if that made sense, but if you watch it, it will. But yeah, When We First Met, definitely a great movie. Check it out. I give it my TGIF stamp of approval. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a cute movie if you're in the mood for a fun date night movie with your girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse or whatever. So, all right, the next movie, I told you it was 20 years old. It might not be as relatable as it is now in our life, but 20 years ago it was, and it's a movie that I actually really liked, and I'll never forget it because I saw it in high school, and it came out the same time as The Matrix, and I remember I was in that movie theater watching the movie I'm about to talk about, and my friend was like, "You haven't seen The Matrix? What are you doing in here watching this stupid rom-com? Go watch The Matrix." I'm like, well, I want to watch this movie, and this is a great movie. So here we go. The second movie for our Valentine's Day special on TGIF here is 10 Things I Hate About You. Yes, I love that movie. It's great. Yes, it has to do with high schoolers, but it had to do with when I was in high school or around that time or whatever. And so it's a great movie, though. So I think it's supposed to be like Taming of the Shrew or whatever, but it stars Julia Stiles, Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, David Cromes, Gabrielle Union, a bunch of people that you would recognize. And pretty much the whole story is the father doesn't want his... So there's a senior daughter, a sophomore daughter, and the dad, he's a single dad. He doesn't want... I think he's like a baby delivery doctor or whatever. So he's like all paranoid that his daughters are going to get pregnant in high school. So he's like, they can't date or whatever. Julia Stiles is obviously like the more stiff one. Like she's like, I don't care. I don't like dances. I don't like popularity, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the daughter, her name's Bianca, but her real name is Larissa Olenek. But Bianca, she wants to start dating. She's like a sophomore, I think. And so she's kind of like, okay, I want to start dating. But the dad says, well, if your older sister, you know, if she goes out on a date or goes to parties or goes to prom or whatever, you can go. So then she hires Joseph Gordon-Levitt. She's like, hey, if you find someone for my sister, then I can go on a date with you. And so then he hires Heath Ledger because he's like this tough guy, you know, and so they feel like he could handle her or whatever. But then Andrew Keegan, his name is Joey Donner, you would recognize. I think he was in Rookie of the Year. I think that's... I don't know if it's the same character right there, or the same actor, but I think it is. But anyways, he is in the movie, but he's kind of like the rich, like popular guy. But he wants to go out with Bianca too. And so he's hiring Heath Ledger as well, and like, hey, like, I'll pay you money if you take out Julia Stiles, blah, blah, blah. I'm listening to myself, and I know this sounds really like, oh, wow, this is a total rom-com, and I don't know why I love this movie, but I love it. It's great. It's really entertaining, and it's fun. Anyways, all that high school stuff happens. It's really fun, and I mean, if you went to the high schools and like the late 90s or 2000s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, then this movie is very relatable. I'm sure it's still relatable now, but the soundtrack's great, the acting is great, the comedy is great, and it's just a fun movie. And I know I've watched it recently and it still stands up the test of time, so I would definitely check it out. 10 Things I Hate About You. If you've never seen it, it's an awesome movie. And I mean, I don't think it's dated, even though it is 20 years old. But I mean, those would be the two movies that I suggest that you watch with your significant other, or on your Valentines, or on your whatever. Definitely check those movies out this weekend for my TGIF recommendations. So anyways, happy Valentine's Day from Guys Night Lab, and stay tuned because I do have another episode coming out, and it's my Friday night Fright Night pick for Valentine's Day. 2 scary movies that you could watch with your significant other. So check it out. All right, take care. Bye.